Going on, everybody? It is time for another live stream, Sunday, 3 p.m. here in New Vienna, Iowa, August 23rd, 2020. And guess what? I think there's only one live stream today. I think I figured out what was going on. Well, I have an idea. I don't know exactly what was the problem, but I think I figured out what was going wrong when my multiple kept showing up. I'm not sure why, but I think I removed the thing that was making the multiple live stream showing up. So I think there's only one. If you're here, I'll put them in the chat as well. This is the right one. So if you're seeing that, you're in the right one. Hopefully there's only one to even see. I think we got it. I think we got it done. I think I finally figured it out. Welcome everybody. First of all, I think we need to get a little cowbell in here. Because I'm hearing from Martha, and I thought I saw something on Twitter today as well. Someone else was, maybe Martha, was it you? Someone was putting in screenshots from the live stream this morning of Pikes Peak, and I think that Seth took the crown today. So congratulations to Seth. Get that cowbell going in there. Great work to him. I think FOD runner Andy was in there too, giving us some live updates, live tweeting it, the event. And, I did not get a chance to see it, but I can't wait to watch that video. So that's going to be pretty cool. That's very cool. Yep. He flew the dub, Terrence Hui. He, as far as I know, he won it today. I didn't check any other results, but I think he won. So great work. Great work. Let's see who's here today. We've got Martha. We've got Crespin Greco. You are in the right one. Tony Macias. Louis Cameron. Did I say Louis? Louis, welcome. We got Chris Dyke. Chris Dyke says Seth wins and puts out an SL20 video. I don't think that those two things are kind of like on the same level, but they're both good, positive things. That's what they share in common. They're both good things. Awesome. Yeah. JC says hello all. Yes, watched a little Pikes Peak. Missed the start. Very cool. Yeah, Martha said missed the start but saw SJD summit and finish. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Awesome. I'm so happy for him. Martha says the chat was generally very nice, but after Seth finished, there was a troll who kept repeating endlessly that the wife was going to butter his bread tonight. So annoying. There's always one. That's unfortunate. That's so. But I'm so happy for him. Very cool. It'll be interesting to see. I've been kind of waiting to see this, especially since. I saw the other day that the Athlete Special, I don't know if you guys follow him. I'm aware of kind of what he's doing. He's like a generation younger than me in runners, So like very different. I mean, he's a different caliber. Leagues different than I am in terms of runner, but also like his like target audience and who he's like going after and like the type of video he makes. But he has a tremendous following and he's been putting out a lot of work running wise and video wise. It looks like he got sponsored by Brooks. And so a lot of the media outlets are kind of intrigued by the idea that someone who is a good runner that also has like had a following not apart, but like that was not based on him like being like a successful collegiate athlete or an international athlete, that kind of thing. But also a good runner in their own right, but also having YouTube following. So something that I've been kind of pondering for a long time is when does Seth get picked up? If he gets picked up. I mean, the thing is, I don't know if he's interested in that or like what, it would have to be something flexible, I think, for him so he could still run in a variety of brands of shoes. So I'm not so sure that it would be someone like, Brooks or like a brand. Although I could see it. He has some of his favorites. So, but that'd be something interesting to see. Yeah, Road Reviews are in the right one. My mom is here. Hi, Mom. How are you? Shortbread is here as well. Larry Lawrence. Cool. Good to see everybody. Innes Dunbar giving us the update on Pip, who, remember, Innes for his birthday ran 51K and his dog ran with him. And we were like, oh, yeah, great job, Innes, but tell me more about the dog. I kind of apologize about that yesterday, but that's kind of how we were all feeling. And he says, where'd it go? I just had it in front of me. Yeah, Pip was fully recovered this morning and very happy to get on her early morning walk. Amazing. Dogs are great. Dogs are amazing. Very cool. Oh yeah, I didn't even do this intentionally today, but I did put the shirt on, and it works out. It works out. Maybe that's why I pulled it out of the stack of shirts. So it worked out really well. Rainrunners here says, yes, we predicted correctly. He won. Yeah, I mean, he came in second last year. So, I just feel like the guy's been training like a beast. So, Martha says, Seth not only won, but he set his age group record and ascent record. Incredible. Steve says, is it sad that hearing the sound effects on the SL20 video was the highlight of my day? Yeah, I put in the SL20, and I'll play it again for you guys now. I put in the sound effect. I put that into the video 2 times. Once at the music, and then once as I was talking about like how it's become a word of the day for us. And that was a lot of fun. I initially like rendered out the video and forgot to put it in there, and I was like, no, I got to re-render it because I got to have that in there. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Oscar Quo's here. Hello from New Zealand. Awesome. Hopefully you guys are doing okay down there. I know that you guys kind of went into like another, I don't know if lockdown's the right word, but hopefully that is all passing. You guys are always doing the hard work when it comes to that. I'm envious of that. Yeah. Pete G is here. Crespin Greco. Bub Tub says, hi, Kofuzi. Been a Kofuzi groupie for a year now. Increased from 3-mile runs to 10 miles. Gradually tried Skechers. I actually like them. Awesome. Well, Bub Tub, thanks. That's great progress. That's amazing. And so glad to have you here. Jody Run says, good day. And pseudonym 2E says, pseudonym 2E. Okay. How do you best deal with injury? Sprained my ankle on a camping trip and haven't been able to run for a few weeks, and will probably be at least a few more before starting back up again. Well, I mean, I'm really bad at it because I'm kind of battling something now with my knee. And, I thought I was over it, right? I did the mile time trial. You guys saw that in the SL20 video today. And then yesterday I ran a half marathon. I felt pretty good on it. I kind of like, it was again where I was like, yes, this is a knee that has an issue, but it's not bothering me at all. And then I even went on multiple bike rides with the kids around the neighborhood. We got that bike, the trailer that my younger daughter can sit in, and we all went for a couple family rides yesterday. Everyone's very tired today. And I thought it was great. So I went on another run today. I was thinking I'll do 11 miles, and I ended up doing a little bit of walking. So I was, so it's a little bit discouraging because I keep thinking it's better. I'm ready to push again. Thought I'd put like 2 higher mileage days in a row, like 13 and 11. Not a huge amount, but not a small amount either. And then today didn't work out so great. I mean, part of it was it got hot again here. And like I looked at my Strava, and it said that it was 65 and humid this morning, but it didn't feel like it was 65. So it must be pulling from like the early part of the run, because by the end it was definitely more than 65 degrees out. So yeah, so it's it was a little bit of a disappointment in that, but I think what I'm going to do is I may start up on I don't know if I give it another week, or I was going to start on a new training plan maybe tomorrow. And that training plan, the one that I'm looking at, I'm probably going to modify a Jack Daniels program. And it's, it has like 3 workouts per week, and then fill in the rest with however many miles of easy miles you want to do to round up to like fill out your mileage. And I was thinking of doing kind of like, if it's supposed to be like 8 easy miles, I usually run them at like 8.5 to 9 minutes per mile. So like 72 minutes of bicycling is what I might do. So I'm thinking about kind of doing that. We'll see if, like, that, or maybe I'll just do another week of kind of like easy running and just a little bit higher mileage, seeing how the knee responds. I'll probably do that. That's kind of how I respond to the injury is not well. I keep trying to push it. I keep trying to like see if I can run on it anyway. But if I can't, then I think the thing to look for is other things that you can do to maintain, fitness, especially from a cardiovascular perspective. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Jeremini Patrice says, how do you deal with weight? You look really fit. I don't think about it a lot. I think about, I like to think I have a pretty healthy relationship with food and exercise. I usually think about if my body is craving something, I let it have it, because it's usually the body's way of saying, like, I need something. I can't express whether that's, B12 or magnesium or potassium or what, but I do kind of feel like having banana bread all of a sudden, and I normally don't ever have cravings for banana bread. So that kind of thing, or if it feels like I really want French fries, I feel like that's my body way of telling me I need some salt and maybe a little bit of extra fat in the diet, that kind of thing. So I just kind of like I think of food as fuel. I'm putting a lot out. I got to put a lot back in. I try to stay really well hydrated. I try to sleep a good amount. I'm not always good at that. And that's kind of my approach, is to not really think about it. I like to exercise, and I like to get out there. I don't think of exercise as like I got to burn calories. I think of it as I like to go out and run. I like to do these activities. So if I didn't like running, I would, hopefully find something else that I did like, that I could find to be an entertaining activity that would give me other kinds of goals and objectives that I can kind of gamify and, track, that would, lead me to being more active. So, yeah. Let's see. Always Fun Baxter says, congrats to all the half marathons today. Good efforts. Is there a half marathon today? Jody Runs says, when Trump said New Zealand numbers were really spiking, there was I remember that. He said there was 9 cases. Trump doing what he does best, deflecting from his own failings. To be fair, typical politician behavior. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where he comes up with that, but I mean, I know that like when it went back into lockdown, it was like there were 5 cases, and then it went back into lockdown or something like that. And so it was sad to see, but I mean, if that's what it takes to really control this for now, given the tools that we have, and that's the only control measure we have, then that's what it's supposed to look like. So, yeah, so let's see. Terrence Huey and Timmy. I think Terrence and Timmy are talking about some of the fires going on in California, and it looks insane. Hopefully everyone is doing well. I mean, I'm not hearing from anyone that's normally in the live stream that's not able to attend. Although, like, if someone was really affected by those fires, I wouldn't expect them to be here to tell me about how they're affected by the fires. So I hope everyone's okay. And I'm just thinking right now that we've got a situation where there was like the derecho, which is really funny that on the news they always call it the derecho, like it's like El Nino, but they always call it the derecho. That storm that passed through Iowa. We've got that. We've got the fires in California, and then we've got these giant hurricanes, or 2 hurricanes coming through in the Gulf. It's a tumultuous time right now. So I just hope everyone's safe, because that's just a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Ewan McCormack says, hi from Ireland, Kofuzi. First half marathon distance completed today after starting 3K in April. Awesome. Let's give him a cowbell for that one. Good job, Ewan. Or is that Ian? I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing it right. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right. He says, knees and Achilles are stiff already. Any tips on recovery? I would say if it's your first half marathon, congratulations. But also take your time. Don't rush anything back. If your knees and Achilles are stiff, make sure you're hydrating well. Make sure you keep moving. I'm not saying get out there and go running necessarily, but make sure you're walking around. Don't let yourself sit down in one spot too long. Make sure you're getting good sleep. One thing that a lot of people do to aid in circulation is they sit with their feet up, with their toes pointing like up towards the sky. Lean your legs against the wall. It's kind of like a poor man's version of the Normatec, those big compression boots that people put on. So that's something that you can do as well. But I would just say do something that's just going to get your legs moving a little bit. And I would say like, walking around, maybe doing like just some light, like kind of like stretches along the floor just to kind of get everything moving. With the Achilles though, I always just never touch my Achilles if it's bothering me. I try to stay away from it as much as possible. I always feel like the more you touch if your Achilles is barking and it's like inflamed, anytime you touch it, it just makes it worse. In my opinion, I'm a little bit kind of neurotic about that. So I would say stay away from that, and just hopefully your body will get back into shape. Meredith Roseman said, yesterday I ran a half marathon, and in 9 months I shaved off 35 minutes. Awesome. However, I couldn't really get out of bed today. Well, congratulations, Meredith, to your half marathon. Great job. 35 minutes is an insane amount of progress in 9 months. So great work. And you know what? If you can't get out of bed today, I think that's okay. I think it's all right. Yeah. Christopher Colangelo is here. Says, finally able to make a live stream again. Really loving the summer videos from Iowa. Thanks. I'm loving them too. It's been really great running out here. It is really dry though, and we're kind of like in drought-like conditions. That's a word that's been coming up in the news, and like everything does feel very like dry out here. Even when it's humid, there's just a different kind of heat that is just not very pleasant. Yes, I know it gets much hotter and much less pleasant in other places in the world, but like it's been pretty balmy here most of the summer, so I've been very spoiled. Let's see. Roadrunner Review says, when I had runner's knee back in the Army, I used the Jim Beam plan. I suppose that could work. Yes, for sure. All right. See here, Shannon is here as well. She says, I'm injured now, and it really does force your mind to deal with things other than just through exercise, and I'm kind of struggling mentally. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard being hurt. I'm having a real hard time with it because I'm ready, like mentally, I'm ready to go do my next thing. Like even today when, my knee wasn't feeling great, and I thought, I'll just walk, because it was a beautiful day to walk. I was like, as my knee was like starting to bug me, I was like, cresting this hill, there was a beautiful view, and a nice wind was coming off because I was at the top of the hill, and I was just like, this is a nice place to kind of walk. So I walked a little bit right there, and I was like, this is pleasant. It was the first time in a long time I've enjoyed, I walk with the family a lot, and I enjoy that, but it was the first time by myself that I've enjoyed walking in a really long time, longer than I can remember. It was nice. But it's hard. A lot of times it's hard for me to kind of like change gears like that and like pull back a little bit. Arnold Allen says, can second the Achilles statements. After 2 months of PT, mine are feeling much better. No speed work, no hills. Yeah, you gotta take it easy. Yeah. Rainrunner says, I miss the Lakefront Sunrises, but the world has changed. Makes sense for you to be in Iowa, Kofuzi. Yeah, I do miss the Lakefront Sunrises as well. But right now, so I'm seeing a lot of people's Instagram stories and Instagram posts of the lakefront. And I don't know if it's just like the filters that everyone tends to be using or the time of day that they're going. Because I don't see a lot of like sunrise, which, to catch the sunrise or like really the real beautiful light happens like 20 to 30 minutes before what would be considered sunrise, like when the sun actually crests the horizon. The real great colors come about 20 to 30 minutes before that. And, there's not a lot of people that are capturing that right now that I'm seeing. So I'm still missing out on that. But the pictures that I am seeing, it looks like very crowded, very hot and sweaty. The pavement looks like it's just radiating heat. So it's just like, it looks hot. I feel like it looks really, really hot. But I do miss it out there. I miss splashing my feet. I haven't gotten my shoes are all very dusty. They're like when I do like the versus videos and I pick up the shoes to like go film them, like when I pick them up, there's like a cakey layer of dust on it. Yeah. Stevie76 says, I just did an FKT washing dishes for our family of 5. He wants a kettlebell for that. It's funny. Sunny Kerwin says, injuries, great topic. Says me currently doing my hammy exercises. Hammy injuries suck. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that, Sunny. Burjendra Shukla says, hi Kofuzi, could you please tell me how to deal with inner guilt when you don't go for your daily run and try to convince yourself rest is a must too? Whenever I take a rest day, I feel as if I am cheating. Well, I definitely get that as well. But the way that I deal with rest days, I don't really take very many, but because currently the way that I run, I don't always feel the need to. But last October or last fall or summer when I was training for the Chicago Marathon, I was on a training plan that had me in one scheduled rest day a week. And that was really hard for me. I felt like I can go do something. I can still get something else done. But I was like, nope, training plan says nothing. I'm going to do nothing. And the way that I think about it mentally in terms of if you feel guilt, there's more you can do, is there's kind of two ways to look at it. If you're feeling like you don't need to rest on the rest day, it means on your hard days, you're not going out hard enough. Now, I'm not saying go out hard every day, but you should be really relishing your rest days if that's part of your training program. And so that also probably means that you have some workouts that you're supposed to do, maybe 1, 2, maybe even 3 workouts a week. You got to make sure you're hitting all those goals. And if you're easily hitting all those goals and times and paces in your workout days, and you don't really feel like you need the recovery day that's on your schedule, then I would say talk to the coach and tweak it so that way you're making sure you're getting the right level of intensity for your workout days. So your hard days maybe are not hard enough. The other way to think about it, even if it's maybe you are really exhausted and your body does desperately need that rest day, you still feel guilty about it. The other way to think about it too is that there's 2 parts to growth when it comes to running. One is to apply the exercise, and the second is to absorb it. And so I think the way a lot of people get into overtraining injuries is they're constantly applying more and more pressure and more stimulus to their bodies. But if they're not recovering well enough for their bodies to be able to absorb it and do anything with it. Kind of like watering a plant. If you just sprayed it with a pressure washer, it wouldn't be able to absorb the nutrients in the water. But if you give a plant water, you have to wait for the water to seep into the ground, get to the roots. Then you can give it more water. That's kind of how I think about recovery. So I try not to think about recovery as this other thing that I do with the workouts. The recovery is part of the workout. I don't always follow that advice, but that's how I like to think about it. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Martha says, I have no guilt running every other day. No injuries. I'm really fit. I'm hitting goal. So if it ain't broke, ain't fixing it. I love that. That's great. My daughter was asking me again why I don't eat meat, why I'm a vegetarian. And I kind of explained the same way. I started running again after a long hiatus, and we went to a mostly meat-free diet at about the same time. I was also experiencing vertigo at the time. And after a little while of doing that, vertigo went away. So if it ain't broke, ain't fix it. I'm going to keep running, and I'm going to keep not eating meat. I don't care which one of those two it was that fixed the vertigo, but the vertigo is not here, so I'm going to keep doing both of them because I don't care enough to really distinguish which one it is. Yeah. Let's see. Rainrunner says, for years I maxed out at 4 days a week of running. Never got injured. At 5 now and seems to be okay, but I think I'll stay here. Yeah. So yeah, I think that one of the things that I'm realizing is everyone kind of there's always the more is better approach, but you got to figure out what's the level that your body responds best to. And there's a certain point of diminishing returns where you can apply more workout and apply more load, but there's less return and then more risk, so 5L asks a question, Nova Blast or Beacon version 2? I like the Beacon version 2 better. I just think that it's a more spirited shoe, so to speak. That's not very vague and doesn't mean much, but that's kind of how I think about it. I just feel like I've got pep in my step when I run in the Beacon 2. I'm really looking forward to the Beacon 3. I'm not sure when that's going to be. I think I'm probably going to I think I told you guys earlier that someone's sending me the Beacon 3. That's someone sending me the Rincon 2. So I got confused on that one. But I'll probably wait on the Beacon 3 for a little bit, just because I've got a lot of shoes right now and I want to get through a lot of them. But I am very much looking forward to it. Kevin Hagler says, ran 15 miles this morning, bought a pair of Cascadia 14s for an ultramarathon in 6 weeks, and got the big book of endurance training and Born to Run delivered today. Great day for running growth. That's a lot of stuff. That's very cool. It's a big day. It's a big Sunday. Awesome. Well, good luck in the ultra in 6 weeks. Oh, by the way, guys, here. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. But I was looking. Someone was mentioning that marathon in Osage, Iowa, and I was looking at it yesterday. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll show it to you guys. But here's this race, and they've got a pretty decent like statement that they're going with for like they've got a pretty decent statement for their COVID precautions and things like that. So I mean, it seems okay. And I'm not sure about that county in terms of how many cases they have. But I was looking at where is it? No, this is not the right. Here we go. This is the page that I want. So I want this, and I wanted to show you guys the elevation profile for this map. Let's see, where is it? It's always so hard to find these things. Course map. So I'm looking at the course map for this thing, and looking at the elevation, it has 627 feet of ascent. Not like an incredibly huge amount. Not a small amount, but not huge either. But look down here at the elevation profile. Like, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll try to zoom in on this, make it a little bit bigger. Oh boy, what did I do? All right. So down here, it goes from, at mile 5.17, it goes from 1191 feet to, in half a mile, it goes like 80 feet, an 80-foot drop. I mean, maybe it's just like the scale that looks funny here, but I mean, really, you're starting from back here. It's just like an insane drop. And then here's like the turnaround point, and then you turn around and you have to do it again, and then you got to run up it. And one of the things that you could show the gradient, and so like, yeah, you're like, yeah, that doesn't look like it's that bad. But there are points along this race where it's like 3.6%, and down here it is, I remember seeing it yesterday. It looks like it's only 3.1% now, but I saw, yeah, here we go. 6% incline at the 20-mile mark for this race. Just seems like just absolutely brutal. I'm now familiar with what a 6% incline looks like here in Iowa, and that just seems insane to me. Because I run around up that, and for me, like running on fresh legs, trying to get up a 6% incline for like what might be like about half a mile, yeah, or even less than that. So it's just a really short, intense hill. I mean, that just like you come down to a screeching halt on that one. So that is a pretty crazy change. But I was also looking at the results from this last year. And this is that marathon that I think it went off yesterday. If anyone ran it, let me know. But it looks like there was only like 21 men and 8 women that ran it. So I feel like, I don't know. There was a lot of climbing in that, or like for me anyway. I mean, for most people, that's not a lot of climbing. But there was not a lot of climbing in it, but maybe, maybe I could have won my age group or gotten close to that in the age group. Because let's look at the men's 40 to 44. There was one finisher at 3:39. So I don't know. Even with that much climbing, I think maybe I could have had a shot. So maybe something to think about trying that race sometime. But it was just pretty bizarre. Because like I can't imagine. Like I guess it's called the main to main marathon. So they're running from I think one main street to another. But it just seems like maybe there wasn't a way to get around that giant hill in the middle. It was crazy. Raymond Galacias here. He says, jumped into the live stream. Live in the San Francisco area. Some areas have been impacted with constant air quality issues. In my area, it rolls in and out. I check websites to see if I go outside to run. That's crazy. I know, like my friend that I ran the tunnel marathon with, they had some fires up there. Like I think the year before I ran the tunnel marathon with him, he's out in Seattle, and they had a similar thing where it was like for days, they, like had to check for air quality. Yeah, JC says it's crossing a river or a stream. So that's what I think it is too. So it must be just coming up from like a bluff, coming down. You're probably going to go over, my guess is a bridge, and then climb back up over onto the other side. And then you got to do it all the way back. So like, I don't know. Maybe it's one that I'll do. The other one that there used to be a marathon in Iowa called there's a town in Iowa called Marathon. So it was like the Marathon. I think that that race no longer exists. But in all the driving that I've been doing back between here and Cedar Rapids to go help out my brother-in-law, there's a little town called Hopkinton. And I was like, I wonder if Hopkinton has a marathon. I feel like it should. But the town of Hopkinton has like a population of like less than 1,000. So I don't think it does. I did look it up, but I don't think it does. Let's see. I had a cup of water here before. I don't think that's my cup of water. I think it's my wife. Yeah. Let's see. DEW Running says, I did 6% hill repeats last year for a marathon. It's brutal. Yeah, 6% is a lot. That's a lot. And I remember riding in Zwift, and like you see the different hill elevations, and like I didn't have like a real trainer to accurately tell me like how much more difficult it should be to ride up 6% of incline. So I just would crank it and make it as hard as I could anytime I got to like 7% or higher. But now I'm like, ooh, maybe I wasn't hard enough on myself. Jay Page is here. Late to the party. Hope everyone is well. Yeah, good. Glad to have you. I think everyone's doing okay. I think that there are some people in the San Francisco area that are, having some air quality issues. Hopefully that's as bad as it gets for people. And hopefully that ends soon. Yeah. Joaquim Liu says, dealt with shin splints or maybe stress fracture this summer. Cross training and grass running have been my jam this summer. Yeah, I've been trying to find, or for myself, I've been trying to run on some softer surfaces as well. So that's always just been helpful. And I think that even if you're feeling great, I think if you can run more on softer surfaces, it's a good idea. I've heard from multiple sources, like Dardan Finn, who wrote Running with the Kenyans, and I can't remember, someone else, I think on Twitter, kind of reiterated the same statement that like for a lot of the elite Kenyan runners, that they're amazed when they come to the U.S. To see how much time Americans spend running on like pavement or paved trails, concrete, blacktop, that kind of thing. That it's just they just don't understand why we would ever choose to do that. And for the longest time, I've always been like, I'm fine with it. But maybe it's catching up to me now, where I'm like, maybe I need to make a little bit more of an effort to find the softer trails, or at least that shoulder on the side of the road that I can run on, even if it means like, I'm not going to run quite as fast because I don't have as much traction and grip, that kind of thing. But yeah. Yeah. DEW Running says, Kofuzi, running tech shirts coming soon. I would love to, but I'm going to say probably not until Teespring has that as an option. Because, I just think that me trying to do something like in the Etsy shop is something that I'm just not really prepared to do. Not right now, not with everything the way that things are. So, not yet. Hopefully soon. Let's see. Jody Run says, my friends like to take me on trails with 40% hills because they know I suck at hills. Well, that's good. I mean, I guess they're trying to help you. As long as they're not getting to the top and then like mocking you from the top, I think that's great, because then your friends are pushing you to develop and grow into a better runner, I guess. Jay Page says, I live in the city. It's hard to find convenient, softer surfaces. Yeah, I mean, that was the hardest thing for me a lot of the time, too. Is like I run along the lakefront. It's all concrete. I mean, I don't know where else I can run. And then my other concern was like, yeah, you know what? I could probably find some grassier surfaces to run on. But if I'm running on that every day and everyone else in the city starts running on it every day, it's going to really tear up some of the grass. So I was like, maybe like my priorities were backwards. I was like really worried about the grass. So that was something like when living in the city that I've always had a hard time with. Is like, I just don't know where to get softer surfaces. Tony Macia says, bonus, you could start reviewing trail shoes too. Yeah, it's something that like I consider kind of like trail shoes and like GPS watches and kind of have a lot of similarities for me. Whenever I do a video on them, I always kind of like make the video and I'm like, like you're bracing yourself to get like kind of smacked in the face a little bit, because my experience with trail shoes is very limited and very specific. It's like I can't, like, I'm going somewhere where road shoes won't really work, or probably could work, but I could probably also use a light trail shoe. And then every time I do, I always get a lot of comments like, that's not a trail, this is a trail. Like that Crocodile Dundee thing. So, yeah, so I always get that. And then with GPS watches, I always get like similar things. It's like all the GPS scientists watch the videos and they're like, well, technically your explanation of how GPS signals work is an oversimplification, and here's how it really works. And I'm like, okay, I don't need that level of explanation, but yeah. So like I liked running in trail shoes. I think they're fun. But I don't need that many of them. That's the other thing. And so like I don't want to have them just to have them. So there won't be too many more trail shoes this year. I think there may be one more. I think that someone's going to send me the Catamount. So I'm hoping to run in that one. I'm pretty excited about that one. And that'll probably be the last one. Unless once we get to wintertime, I did see that like Nike is putting out, just put out some images for I don't know if it's out already yet either, the Peg Trail 2 Gore-Tex. So I've seen some of those. It looks great. So, yeah. Leona Monk says, can we give Teespring feedback asking for tech shirts? If so, who can we contact? I don't know. Maybe I will try to put that out there. I'll maybe put some on Twitter. Kind of like, call them out a little bit. Sean Marshall is talking about Jody Runs and his friends bringing him up hills or dragging him up hills. And so Sean Marshall says his friends are helping / torturing him. And Jody Runs says they do mock him when they get to the top. Oh, that's so funny. Jody Runs says we all give each other a hard time, and it's done in a joking way. So that's good. That's good. Joachim Luo says, totally recommend doing some barefoot sprints on grass after your regular run. That's an interesting idea. I think I could probably find a spot for that. I think people would think people think I already do think I'm kind of weird around here, but I think they would really think I'm weird if I did that. But I think it'd be good for me. Rodent Review says, ordered my Torrent 2s yesterday. They only had the Speed Goat 4s. Speed Goats were pretty impressive, but we're probably going to be aggressive for the lighter trails I'm going to run. Yeah, so I that's how I feel about the Speed Goat too. I think it's a great looking shoe. I'd like to be able to run in it. But I just think that I'm going to get it and I'm going to be like, I don't like this. I don't need this much. And then it'll be like, well, you don't like it because you're not using it right, So I feel like I don't want to put myself or the shoe in that situation either, So Rain Runner says, I feel like Seth should be sponsored by Innovate. Yeah, I could see that. He does like the Innovate stuff. But he's been running in so many Hokas that I feel like he's been either he's just been liking them this year, or he's like trying to, get their attention. He has picked up a couple of ultras this year too. I don't know if he always has run in ultras as well, but I could see that. But who do you guys think if Seth were sponsored by a brand, which brand do you think it would be? I think it would be I think Ultra would be an interesting choice. Sonny Kerwin also likes Innovate, so maybe that could be an interesting one. You know what? Like the other thing that I was thinking about, because with Ultra, doesn't Tommy Ribs runs Ultra, doesn't he? And I was thinking about him the other day, and I forget where I was going to go with that. But I am thinking about that guy. It's crazy. Yeah, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, now I remember where I was going with that. So I was thinking about Tommy Ribs, Ultra, Tommy Ribs, and then Kraft. So wasn't Kraft supposed to release a shoe this year? Did they release a shoe? Like Kraft, they make the bicycling and the like running clothes, also like just outdoor winter, a lot of like winter outdoor active wear. Like I don't know whatever happened to that. I thought they even had like kind of like sneak previews of it for some people down in Atlanta. I didn't get invited to go check a look at that, but they had a booth there. I should have tried to investigate further. But yeah, whatever happened to that? Meredith Roseman says, sad to have to say goodbye, but I have homework. Sorry about that. We'll see you tomorrow. Calvin Kwan says, love the Speed Goat 4. It's fine on pavement. Better than Torque for comfort. Really? Oh, interesting. B. Rutland says, Seth should be sponsored by Nike or Innovate. Yeah, I think he would love to be sponsored by Nike. DW Running says, Solomon. Yeah, he does love the, what is it? The red ones that he's always wearing. He loves to just like stomp around in the mud in those. Jared Crano says Tommy Ribs is not with Ultra anymore. Oh, I didn't know that. Stevie76 said he should be sponsored, but I can't believe it's not butter. I mean, yeah, for someone that reviews shoes, though, I think that like what would make more sense if he were sponsored by like Runnin' Rabbit. Like I think that would make a lot more sense, like an apparel company that wouldn't necessarily be mad if he tried on a whole bunch of different type of shoes. So that like kind of makes a little bit like more sense to me than like a shoe company, but it's interesting to see like what he would pick with shoes. I'm not sure. Rain Runner saying, I'm low-key hoping for a Seth versus Sage race. That'd be, I mean, they live somewhat close to each other, right? I don't know how close they are to each other, but I mean, at some point they're gonna have to cross paths, right? I'm surprised that hasn't happened already. Yeah. I don't. Why hasn't that happened? Yeah, Steve says regarding Seth, surely a butter sponsor. I mean, if Gwen Jorgensen has an egg sponsor, like Seth should certainly have a butter sponsor. It'd just be like, butter my bread. And when I butter my bread, I always use like Heartland Dairy, that'd just be so funny. If I were going to be sponsored by food, I would love to be sponsored by pizza. I want to be Happy Joe. I want to be a Happy Joe sponsored athlete. If it's not Happy Joe's, I want to be sponsored by Shinramen, my favorite ramen noodles. Like those would be my top two choices. Or like a refried bean. That'd be another really great option. Those would be my top three choices. Sean Marshall says Path should sponsor Kofuzi. I don't think they sponsor any athletes. I mean, they send me a lot of product though. They take care of me. I just love their pants and their hats. Just amazing stuff. So I'm very happy to promote their stuff whenever I can because it's great. Let's see. B. Rutland says, "Oh, Rabbit would be great. He always races in that Rabbit singlet." Yeah, he loves this stuff, and I feel like it would be a good fit. Grant Thomas says, "How do you prevent foot pain with all the different types of shoes you test?" I don't do anything specifically for it. I think that my weird like superpower is that different heel drops and different shoes don't bother me, for the most part. I'm running into a little bit of issues these days, but for at least a long time. Maybe my streak is over. Let's knock on wood and say that it doesn't bother me, but for the most part, it just like I can tell when it's a 10 millimeter heel drop. I can tell when it's a 4 millimeter heel drop. I can tell like in the middle, like 6 or 8, but like for the most part, like I notice them, but they don't bother me. Yeah, Stevie76 says Sage is a sponsored everything. He kind of is, but I don't think he's like more sponsored or has more different like little sponsors than anyone else. I just think that the way he does it is like he always just like puts all the plugs in at once in every video, and it's a very strange way to do it. But that's his style. It's a very Sage way to do it too. Not that Sage is necessarily strange, but DW Running says, Seth seems to always list himself as an entrepreneur, so if the money was right, he would probably go with a sponsor. Just my opinion. Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see like him have that like a different level of funding and security, especially for his family and the kids. So like that, I think that'd be great. Stevie76 said I should be sponsored by toilet paper. I'd probably be a bad toilet paper spokesperson because when I do have to poop in the corn, I don't bring toilet paper with me. It's just a messy situation, but But Marchan Coco says ramen noodle sponsor, genius. Here's why it's great. You could sodium like electrolyte load the night before a race. It would travel well. It's really easy to make no matter where you are in the world. All you need is hot water and a vessel that can hold the hot water. It's got lots of carbs. I mean, there's got lots of other stuff that's not great for you to eat on a regular basis, but I love it. And then if you could find some rice, if you can find some tofu to put in it too. I like to put an egg in mine. There's lots of things you can add to make it more better for you. So, or more filling, so it's not just noodles, but yeah. JC says there's an opening at Land O'Lakes since they've retired the girl on the package. I mean, can you imagine if it was like this was on the face, or is it, this was on the face of like the Land O'Lakes butter? Like just this drawing on the face of it? That'd be amazing. Oh man. Sean Marshall says, you made a path buyer out of me too. Yeah, it's a really great product. Roadrunner Review says, I should be sponsored by an IV because every time I run, I feel like I'm going to die. That's funny. Oh, a lawnmower. Where did that one go? Rainrunner says, I need a lawnmower sponsor. Yeah, I could do that. It'd be like, it's so easy, even I can use it. But, I think a lot of lawnmower companies wouldn't really want that kind of branding. I think a lot of them would want to have as branding, like, it's a really capable lawnmower. Tackle even the toughest yards. Like, I feel like that's like the way that lawnmower advertising goes. But if there was ever a need for like, it's a lawnmower so easy, anybody could use it, and they like needed a person, I'd be like, I'll try it. So that I think that's the way it could work. JChing55 says, hi Kofuzi, started MAF training about a month ago. How long should I wait before incorporating faster runs, zone 3 and higher? Heard doing so too early might be counterproductive. Yeah, I think the answer for that is you should wait to incorporate faster runs until you have a race to prepare for. So like I didn't follow this advice, and I probably started doing faster runs maybe like less than 2 months into it. And I do think it was counterproductive. I think it kind of just stalls your progress. I don't think it's going to make you regress, but I think it's going to stall any like low heart rate progress. But I think that's just kind of like the tactical decision you have to make. Do you want to continue with your training, or if you have a race coming up, well, you got to get ready for the race, I think. So until you're at the point where like a Maffetone, like low heart rate run is too hard to do every day, then, that's kind of like, you use Maffetone for base building and when like you're off season, and then you do speed training when you're getting ready for a race. At least that's how it makes sense to me. But if you don't have a time schedule in mind, I would say, I think like 3 months is a really great time to like dedicate to Maffetone training. But that's really hard to do. It's really hard to do. Joaquim Lowe says, have you ever tried a shoe that's been unrunnable? For me, that would be like the Hyperion Elite, the version 1. That, I got results from it. I was able to run fast in the shoe, but I just really felt like it hurt to run in. And I've never wanted to put it on again. Chris Dyke says, I would like to be sponsored by Kofuzi, and he can send me all the shoes to try out. I'd love to have something like that. I've thought at some point of, like not investing. I told you guys about this before, I think. Like not, kind of like investing, but not really invest, because I don't want to own other people's channels, but like helping other channels to like progress and having a very active role in helping people decide like what kind of videos you should be making, like how to tweak it, send them some shoes or support or whatever it might look like, whether that's monetary support or equipment or gear or what. But I just don't think that like I'm at a position to do that yet. But maybe one day, who knows? Joey Del Rosario, and I think I'll end with this one today, says, I'm interested in running the Asics Nova Blast. It appears to be a shoe for underpronators. I tend to slightly overpronate. Should I pass on this shoe? I would say no. I don't think it's necessary. I don't know how the Nova Blast can be considered a shoe for underpronators or overpronators, really, because it's kind of squishy. And so, like, I just feel like when you're in the shoe, you do move around a lot. I do overpronate. I think I pronate the normal amount. I think I pronate a healthy amount. I think a lot of people would call it overpronating, especially on my left foot. I get the comment frequently that my left foot crashes in. I don't think it does, but people say that. But the first run, I felt like the shoe was way too squishy and was probably going to end up hurting me because it's too squishy. It never did, though. It was fine. So I think it's fine. Unless you normally have a stability shoe, then I might pass on it. But if you normally run in neutral shoes all the time and you're fine, then I think you'll probably be fine. And I'd say try it out. So, all right, I'm going to leave it there. It's a hot day here in Iowa, so I think we're going to go take the kids out in the pool or the kiddie pool and let them play out there, soak them down a little bit, get them to burn off some energy because they've just got so much. But, and hopefully me and my wife can keep up because, you know, it's that part of the summer where the parents are super tired, but the kids are still ready to go. So wish us luck. Tomorrow I'll have a video. I think tomorrow's video is going to be about the Nova Blast. So Nova Blast versus Clifton 7 tomorrow. So check out that. And then we'll do Monday Mukbang. I think tomorrow's Monday Mukbang is going to be walking tacos. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs. Thanks, everybody.